What happens when the life you built is suddenly gone? When the love, the partnership, and the future you imagined disappears? Pam Donaldson faced that reality when she lost her husband of 18 years. She was alone in her grief while the world shut down around her in a global pandemic. Pam had every reason to give up, but she didn't. Instead, she found a way to heal, rebuild her life, and step into a new chapter. Today, she's here to share her journey and her story. Welcome, my friend Pam, to Women Beyond Limits. I'm so happy to have you here today, Pam. You
Okay.
have been a wonder to me watching you as you've gone through the many areas of your life, as you have transformed through so many stages of life. And I told Pam she had to be on the podcast. I am a big fan of hers. And as I've seen what's gone on in recent years, I just felt like she's been a great example of how to handle a challenging time in your life that she's been through. And I'm going to let Pam tell you a little bit about her story so Pam, I'm handing it over to you.
Oh, well, thank you, Robin. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just really excited to be a part of your podcast. I'm proud of you and all that you've accomplished in bringing this all together. Yes, I am a retired budget officer. I worked in local government for 34 years. I'm from Compton, California. I live now in the city of Los Angeles, over in the Baldwin Hills area. I was married for 19 years and my husband passed away. So I'm now a widow now for almost 6 years. I'm a mother of two adult sons and 11 grandchildren. And I'm also a great grandmother of two sons. My life with Albert was amazing. I mean, we met and we dated for just a short period of time. It's like really interesting because we only dated, I would say, for maybe 8 months, and then we were engaged for 3 months, and then we got married. We had an incredible life together. We served together. We were best friends. We were faith partners. We mentored couples who were dating and newly engaged. We traveled together. We loved to travel. And every place we traveled, we loved to play golf. So we would visit all of the local golf courses. Asked if he was a golfer, he would say, no, he was just my caddy. But we had an amazing life together, and I miss him dearly.
Just what you said about Albert there, that he called himself your caddy really depicts your relationship. He treated you like a queen. He treated you the way I believe women want to be treated, Pam, and I really admired your marriage. My husband and I had a great friendship with both of you guys, and you are still my dear friend. But just as couples, um,
Mhm.
watching you two together and seeing the synchronicity and the things that you loved and the way that you worked so well together and the way that you had such a partnership with Albert. You were just a prize couple, really, in many ways. Tell me a little bit, Pam, about what happened with Albert's health as your marriage went on over the years.
Yeah, what happened with Albert's health is that he pretty much suffered with cancer with long stints of remission on and off throughout our entire marriage, actually. We married in 2001, and in year 2002, he had some tests taken as he was completing his onboarding for a new role at his workplace. And that's where the cancer was first discovered. He received treatment. He had no side effects because it was discovered. He didn't know he had it. He went through that treatment. Everything was well. Went great. Cancer was gone, and then the cancer returned about 10 years later. So throughout our marriage, our 18-year marriage, the cancer returned 3 times, and each time it returned more aggressive. And so in 2017 the cancer returned again, and by that time, he couldn't receive the type of treatment from before because by the treatments he received before weakened his heart and some of his organs, so he had to go on a more, reduced type of, uh, cancer regimen, and, unfortunately, he succumbed to cancer on October 6th, 2019.
And Pam, I know that during that time, it was a deep time of grief for you. I mean, even though you saw things coming in a sense, we can never really recover in some ways from losing a partner that was so connected to us, so aligned with you. I saw Albert and you just in every way support each other. And you were just a great wife through that difficult time in his life. And he was surrounded by so many loved ones. He was a very beloved man and a great value, I say, in so many ways to people around him, to his community. And I know that, that time was a deep grief for you and just trying to reevaluate your life, trying to reassess how am I going to move on without Albert? And then that was 2018, 19, did you say? 19. And then shortly after, COVID hit. And so here you are in your grief. Now you're navigating life without Albert and the isolation of COVID. Tell us what happened during that time.
Albert was such a great inspiration to so many people. So many of the young men in the community really missed Albert, and they miss him today. And every time they get the opportunity, they share about how he added value through some of the things that he shared and how he really helped them to become better men. And yeah, I'm telling you, it's such a devastating time losing him in October, and then fast forward to like March of 2020, well, actually February, just a few months later, we're being told that we have this virus and we're in this pandemic. And then in March, we're hit with a stay-at-home order. Was horrific because at that time, we couldn't gather. And so just going through this period of losing my husband and us being empty nesters. So it was just he and I. So it was really, really tough to, get up every day and the world was spinning and not knowing what was ahead of us. There, no vaccine, all of this information in the news really, really devastated me. And I was so afraid. Like I was so afraid of what was going to happen. So I really, really reach for God. Like everything in me, from everything that I had faith in before, I had to pull it out forward because I really needed to know that I was going to be okay. Just to share, when Albert was passing away, I was just kind of looking at each time he would be hospitalized, and every time the paramedics would come to our home to take him away, that there was just one final time when I came home alone without him. And we had the opportunity to say our goodbyes. He said he felt like he was leaving me, like we knew like things weren't getting better, and they um, really told us what his prognosis would be. And so to be alone and not have anyone that I could even hug with, because they, with the social distancing, I can't say that, but you know what I mean? We couldn't even embrace. And so we could have, but it was, we had to be careful. So I just can't tell you just how tough that was. It was a really challenging time.
What did you do in that time when you're at home by yourself and you couldn't be around people? What are some of the resources that you could access to help you move through it?
I had joined a boot camp in 2016, so I had gotten a handle on my physical fitness and having a daily routine. So I had that down, although the studios and the gyms closed, I became a runner. So I was running regularly with groups, and it helped me so much. And I'm so glad that God set that up for me in advance, because I can't imagine having to find something and that not even being the one thing that I may have found, uh, as being a runner. Like, so I'm glad that God did that uh, beforehand and just gave me that ability to be a runner. Running, and then just also later on, just deciding to go back to work. After being retired since 2013, I decided to go back into the workforce. And so I did that for like a year. I went into corporate workforce as an accounting analyst.
Did you find yourself developing some new creative endeavors or some things brewing in you that maybe weren't there before during this time of isolation?
Well, yes, because, during this time, when I was alone, I was really feeling some really hard things, like, I had hit a dark place. I hit a really dark place where at one point, I just thought I was just gonna end it all, and so I'm glad I have faith in God because that's when God spoke to my heart and was like, "We're not doing that." Like, that is not who you are. You're a woman of faith. You have great faith. So I'm just grateful that during that period, as dark as it was, that I had the faith and I had the wherewithal to just keep moving forward.
I'm so grateful for that too, Pam, that you are a woman of faith because you have such great value and so much to offer. But at those times when we're really dark and we're lonely and we're despondent, I think those thoughts haunt people. What did you do to pull yourself out of that? You were running and trying to hold on to that community, and then you're praying yourself out of the depression. What was the next step you took?
I just felt that, God had put it in me to encourage. And so I decided to open a, online store with hair extensions and lashes, and basically the overall, um, motive was to encourage people not to give up. Let's look good while we're in it, let's feel good about ourselves. I know for me, when I fix myself up, I do feel better. Like, I do feel a whole lot better when I do that, when I get out of the bed, shower, nice hot shower, not, put on a little makeup. And so I just wanted to encourage other people, what can we do to get through this? And let's not just survive through this, let's thrive through this. And so I did that. I opened my online store and I just started doing videos showing people how to apply lashes, and I started making wigs and showing people on video how to enhance their hair length.
Pam, I thought it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe some of the stuff you were coming up with. I'm like, "Do you have that in blonde?" I mean, you had some good stuff in there. I'm thinking and I really appreciate that what you're talking about, Pam, is self-care. Like, maybe for some women it is adding those extras, but it's really self-care. It's like, take a shower, fix yourself up, and here's some things to help you, right? Like, here's
Right.
something to help you feel good about yourself. And I know as women, we need that. And I thought that was a great step. So first you took care of yourself through running. You prayed, you got yourself out of the depression so that you could focus outward. You're making yourself look good, taking care of yourself on Zoom and trying to spruce up others. And then, what else did you do in terms of your creative endeavors?
As I re-entered back into the workforce, because I was a retired budget director for local government, and that I worked in for 34 years. I had been in retirement since 2013. I decided to return back into the workforce. So in doing that, I experienced some pretty interesting things along the way. So I wanted to create an ebook. So I wrote an ebook just encouraging widows. It's entitled Unstuck, for those who might be feeling stuck, a guide to re-entering back into the workforce after losing a spouse, divorce, or long leave of absence. It could be medical leave, whatever, military, whatever. And I wanted to encourage other widows and widowers, and to take the step to be encouraged that this is our lives now. Our spouses are gone away, and we have to live. In my case, I was an empty nester, but in some other cases, there are children involved, there's co-parenting, there's all kinds of things going on. And so you need to put yourself back out there in some kind of way. And I just want to encourage individuals to not be ashamed of it, that you might have to go back to work, that, you had expectations for something that didn't work, and if you have a professional degree, if you want to go back to school, if you want to recertify yourself or whatever, that this is the time, like this is that window to put yourself back out there. And so I wrote the guide to help the individual to take that next step if they were feeling stuck. So that's why I entitled it Unstuck.
That's a great idea, Pam. I thought that was so genius when I saw that. I'm like, here she is. She was this professional woman. She retired. You lose Albert. You become a runner. You're taking care of yourself. You become a glam squad for people. Then you're like spawning out this next level, which is like, let me get back in the workforce. What's that feel like? How can I do that here? How can I establish my value here again? And not sit and wallow in my sadness, which is so what we wanna do. We just wanna but it's so unproductive. And you were so productive and just, now I'm not going to just help myself. I'm gonna give a tool to other people because I know how important these tools are to move me forward, and I'm gonna give them away to others. So I love that you just kept evolving. You kept rolling out the next level of the Pam invention of reinventing yourself, Pam. And I was so impressed with that. And it is hard to go back in the workforce. It is very hard. I've done that myself. In my 50s, I went back to work, and you do feel a little bit like a duck out of water, and you're like, you're professional and smart. Do people really value at that age? They look at you differently in today's culture. So it's got its own challenges. So I love that you provided the next level resource for people. So after you did that book, then what was your next step you did after that?
Well, after that, I inherited a, jewelry business, inventory of jewelry, Egyptian-inspired, beautiful art, beautiful designer, created pieces, and so passed that along to me, just such a generous gift of doing that, and so I opened the jewelry store, and I had an online jewelry store, Gratitude Jewelry, so I started, selling my pieces, having pop-up shops, um, putting pieces in a store that I found out in one of the local, malls, and, that was, an incredible thing, just having that in addition to everything else I did. So I managed a store on the side, and then I decided to continue working in the workforce for a little bit longer. And then after that, I decided I wanted to go more into the digital world, into digital marketing and content creating. And so I started creating more ebooks and more digital download digital products to help other people to advance their businesses.
That was another whole segment for you, Pam, is you had these skills. I was amazed. I was seeing your promotions. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what is she doing now?" I was amazed that you have some mad skills, girl, and you're so well self-taught, and you really invest yourself in those, and you're very good. I see your work, and I'm like, "She does good stuff." And, so that's part of your business, is it not? It's what you sell now, what you promote. I'm like, so now, level what are we at, level 5? I don't know where where we're going. We got the next.
There are many levels to Pamela Donaldson.
I
I'm
know,
discovering that every day.
digital content creator. So and your stuff is great. I love it. And you created something from your digital work, didn't you? What was it? Tell us.
I did. I did. Actually, I created a second book, an ebook for those who in the dating world who need some godly uh, perspective on dating in today's world when there are dating apps and there's ghosting and there's all these different things that are happening. Actually, I got the honor to serve on a dating panel in February of 2024. Excuse me. And, we forgot to have it recorded, and so I was thinking, "What a bummer, we shared such awesome information," and so God put it on my heart to say, "Hey, why don't you just create a download, a digital book whereby individuals can, they can benefit from your convictions." And so I did. I created a digital book. It's a dating book. It's called You Are Royalty, Dating with the Kingdom Mindset. And it actually is to remind the individual of your purpose and your quality that you're worthy of what God has for you, and you're worthy of the best. And it's a guide for dating with spiritual principles, with great principles and godly principles. And so I created that ebook as well.
Well, Pam, I that's so valuable to single people today because it is challenging. It's challenging to figure out how to have good relationships, and we all have expectations, but we're afraid to put those out there. But if we don't value ourself first, then it's very difficult to have a relationship because we find that we're compromising all along the way.
Yes, that's very important, and that's something that Albert and I we partnered together and we held dating devotionals in our home, just wise practicals about things that will help you to have a good foundation and to protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you wind up stepping away from a relationship, you still want to be whole. You don't want to be in pieces. And so it's important to have individuals who have done it, who have a platform and a foundation, and then it also helps to build a better foundation for marriage.
Having tools to guide you in relationships are so valuable.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's a great tool you provided, Pam, and yes, we'll make sure you all have resources to Pam's guides, at the end of the podcast. Is there anything else, Pam, that you didn't tell us that you did during this time of grief and renewal?
As I have the ability to share and give to the world, I want to be able to leave a mark to say that I didn't shy away
Yeah.
from the talents that God gave me. That someone can say, at the end that, this is what she shared with me. Actually, somebody did that at one of my services on Sunday. Um, Came to me and said, I've been following you on social media and you really encouraged me, and he had recently lost his wife. And I didn't think I was encouraging the men more so than I was speaking to the widows. And he found peace in some of the things that I was sharing.
You know, I just love the way you took everything you are, and every ability you have, and you spun it into useful tools for your life and for the lives of other people. I mean, what a great resource you've become. I just really appreciated watching all these things come out of your life, of your grief, of your most difficult times in life. When people give up, you kept reinventing yourself. And, Pam, I think that is the message I get from your life the most is that, listen, it's not that you weren't discouraged. It's not that you weren't depressed and saddened. I mean, even despairing of life, not uncommon in grief at all. But you didn't stop there, Pam. You kept moving forward and you kept saying, "What else can I do? What else can I offer? What's rewarding for me? What feels good? What gifts and talents do I have to offer?" And you keep bringing those forth from your life. And I feel like this has given you such a rich life. Do you have any advice for people that might feel stuck in their life that they don't know? Like, what's some of the first steps they can take? Because you brought up some great tools.
You have to get out and breathe, and you need some fresh air, and you need to clear your mind. And grief can really take you down. Like, it can make you feel like it's the end of the world, and it's not the end of the world. There's so much in you. There's so much in us that God is not finished with us. Like, he is the one. He's the author and the finisher of our faith. He is the one who's still writing chapters in books. Like, I had no idea that most of the things that I'm doing would come about. Like, I didn't know I would be a digital publisher, that I would be publishing my own books. But I would just tell individuals to just stay connected to their faith, to stay connected to their families, find the right people who are pouring into them. Don't push them away thinking it should be this person or that relative. Take, if it's healthy or whatever, take that person and make those individuals your village, and just take one day at a time.
That's a great thought, Pam, because when you're in your darkest moments, how would your loved one who's gone now want you to feel? What would they want you to do? Would they want you to sit there and grieve over them for the rest of your life? Or would they hope for you to do the things that you did? Find things you love, find ways to give back using what you've got and what you've been through to give back to people in the community around you. You know they would. I know I would if I were the one that was gone. I was looking at my loved one grieving. I'd be like, please get up. Use your life for something useful. That's great advice. I love what you said there because that in itself can pull you out of a dark place. Thank you for sharing these really practical, but also painful times in your life, and what you've learned from it. And I want people to be able to connect with you and access the many tools that you put out there. How can they stay in touch with you, Pam? Can you give us some ways to connect with you?
I most certainly will. And in closing, I just want to say that if it wasn't for like having community, if it wasn't for my family, just having my family there, having my church, having my running community. I mean, I just tell you, I wouldn't have been my neighbors, my neighbors, my next door neighbor, my neighbors across the street. If it wasn't for them, I don't know. I wouldn't even be here. I don't know. But yes, I do want people to have access to my resources. And what you can do is visit my store. I have a digital store, and it's www.stan.store, Pamela, underscore digital. So www.stan.store/Pamela underscore digital. I also have a email address where you can send me an email, and you can book a call with me. You can go under P Donaldson 808 at gmail.com. P Donaldson 808 at gmail.com. And then last but not least, my Instagram handle, it's at the at sign underscore Pamela underscore digital. Please comment, like, and share on my Facebook, Pamela Donaldson, or my digital store. My Instagram, please like, comment, and share, and I would really appreciate that.
Thanks, Pam. And really, Pam is such a great resource at this time in her life. As she's developed all these abilities, skills, and tools, you've become such a useful woman to so many people, Pam. And people really do look to you and admire you from afar to see what you've done with your life before your husband and after your husband. And just thank you so much for being here. And I hope if you are anyone out there, you're feeling like your life is in despair, you're needing to know what to do next, where to go. Pam is a resource. She can help you find your creative edge, figure out what you want to do. Or if you want to use some of her services as they are, you want to create something, you don't know how, you can contact Pam. And I thank you so much, my friend, for being here today.
Thank
It's been
you.
a true pleasure, and so proud of all that you've done. And I know that your beloved Albert is smiling on you, and he's saying, "Oh, well done, my beautiful wife." And you will always be a treasure to him and to us. So thank you all for being here
Mm.
today and just spending this special time with Pam and learning about how to take that next step after grief, what to do in those moments, how to move forward. And I hope that you will all do so, that you will follow suit because there are many resources out there. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was fantastic. Thank you, Robin.
A lot of fun.